truth is that Africans were sold into slavery by other black Africans, and in many cases, sold for items as trivial as gin and mirrors. Whites didn't go into the interior and round.
Imagine your great grandma get handed over to the white man for a bottle of gin. Like, Grandma Jenny, no. What's up, YouTube? Average Larry back again with another video, man. How are you doing? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. Now, y'all know I don't like to waste too much time. We gonna get right into this reaction, baby. But first, I just want to say something about this young lady, Candace Owens. I ain't gonna lie, when I first found her, I was not the biggest fan. You know, I was back in a time where I was more leaning to the left, and as I got older and smarter and the left started going more to the left, I ended up in the center / right. So I've come to appreciate her much more these days, and she's gonna give us a brief history lesson on slavery. So let's check it out.
Now for a brief history of slavery. Here's the first thing you need to know. Slavery was not invented by white people. It did not start in 1619 when the first slaves came to Jamestown. It existed before then. It did not start in 1492 when Columbus discovered the New World. In fact, when the intrepid explorer landed in the Bahamas, the native Taino tribe hoped that he would help them defeat their aggressive neighbors, the Caribs. The Caribs enslaved the Taino and, on occasion, served them for dinner.
Oh my God.
Slavery existed in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. The word slave actually comes from the Slavs of Eastern Europe. Millions of them, all white by the way, were captured and enslaved by Muslims in the 9th century and later by the Ottoman Turks. Slavery existed when the Roman Empire controlled the Mediterranean and most of Europe from the 1st through the 5th centuries. Slavery existed when Alexander the Great conquered Persia in the 4th century.
Motherfuckers forget about all this shit, though. They act like this shit didn't even happen. But like gladiators were slaves. It was way before black people were slaves in America. There was plenty of slaves.
It was so common that Aristotle simply considered it natural. The slave master model was just how the world operated in the great philosopher's day. Slavery existed during the time of the ancient Egyptians 5,000 years ago. As far back as we can go in human history, we find slavery. As renowned historian John Steele Gordon notes from time immemorial, slaves were a major item of commerce. As much as 1/3 of the population of the ancient world was enslaved. Here's the second thing you need to know. White people were the first to formally put an end to slavery.
What? You got some explaining to do.
In 1833, Britain was the first country in the history of the world to pass a Slavery Abolition Act. They were quickly followed by France, who in 1848 abolished slavery in her many colonies. Then, of course, came the 13th Amendment in the United States Constitution. After centuries of human slavery, white men led the world in putting an end to the abhorrent practice. That includes the 300,000 Union soldiers, overwhelmingly white, who died during the Civil War. Now, am I saying that this makes white people better than anyone else? Of course not. My purpose here is to simply tell the truth, and the truth is that human history is complicated. No one, regardless of skin color, stands guiltless. Yet today we are never told to consider the murderous Persian Empire or the cannibalism of indigenous tribes of North and South America or the heinous actions under the imperialistic Muslim, Chinese,
or the black people that sold black people to America. They were sold, not taken.
Mongol or Japanese empires, to name just a few. Instead, we're told that slavery is a white phenomenon. And like all persistent lies, this lie spawns a bunch of other lies. On social media, I come across extraordinary depictions about how Africans lived like pharaohs before Europeans came and laid waste to their paradise. I wish any of this were true, but it's not. It's a fantasy. The truth is that Africans were sold into slavery by other black Africans, and in many cases, sold for items as trivial as gin and mirrors. Whites didn't go into the interior and round.
Imagine your great grandma get handed over to the white man for a bottle of gin. Like, Grandma Jenny, no. Now I know somebody's gonna hear that and be like, but Larry, how can you laugh at such a situation? First off, calm down. All right, I do not think that slavery is funny. I do not think selling people is funny. What I found the humor in is that we're taught like this evil history of we were stolen from our homeland and freaking dragged over here to be slaves, where no, you were slaves over there and they sold you for a bottle of gin or a mirror. That's where I found the humor, and it's just the hypocrisy and the contradiction in what we were taught versus what was actually happening. So carry on.
Up the natives. They waited on the coast for their black partners to bring them black bodies. The stark reality is that our lives had very little value to our ancestors. Here's the third thing you need to know. If you think slavery is a relic of the past, you're wrong. There are some 700,000 slaves in Africa today, right now. That's the lowest.
Right fucking now, in the motherland, they still got slaves.
Estimate that I could find. Other sources say there are many more. For context, that's almost twice as many slaves as were ever brought to the United States. Child soldiers, human trafficking, forced labor, these are the conditions that currently exist within the same sub-Saharan region where the transatlantic slave trade originated. African bodies are being sold today like they were sold then, and no, they are not being purchased by any country of white men. In fact, slavery, by any traditional definition, is exclusively practiced today within non-white countries. But we hear almost nothing about that. Just like we hear nothing about how slavery was universal until good people in Europe and America ended it 2 centuries ago. Why? Because our so-called leaders, black and white, wouldn't profit from it. Black victimhood is nothing if not profitable. It elects politicians and funds racial grievance groups.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Man, they got us so hyped up on being the victims, so juiced up on being oppressed. And we can't even see that it's people that come in here and just start from nothing and go to the moon because they got a work hard ethic, a no bullshit ethic. Let's just get it done. No blame, no victimhood, no the white man did this so I can't do none of that bullshit. They just come in, get it done, and keep it moving, man. Shit is so sad.
And if Black Americans began to view themselves as partners in the American dream, if we embraced the patriotic spirit that holds all men are created equal, the patriotic spirit that is our real heritage, then the race hustlers would soon be out of business.
Man.
And who wants that? I'm Candace Owens, author of Blackout for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video. To keep Prager U videos free.
All right, hold on now. We ain't doing no donations. I mean, hey, donate to Candace and Prager U if you want to. They're doing some great things over there. But I think this message needs to hit more people, man. Like, you hear a lot of arguments about how slavery held us back, how slavery set us back. And some of that may be true, but if you really think about it, what was the alternative, baby? Like, you wanted to still be over there as a slave? With no modern technology, but very little modern technology, very little technological advances, very little progressive policies. Like, we got it over here. We got it made over here, man. We've got it so made that we're so civilized now that people just have to look and dig and try to find reasons to be mad, to feel oppressed, because there really ain't none, man. Like, yeah, there's probably a few racist people in the country that'll say some stupid shit, might catch a person slipping and beat them up. But on average, this is really the best place in the world to be. And if you don't believe that, I mean, you could just try your luck out there, man. Anyway, this has been another video. Thank you, Candace, for sharing this with us. And thank you guys for sticking with me. If you like that video, maybe you should watch another one. Till next time, as always, one love.